Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Norsca led by Chibambu facing off against the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be helmed by a House God of War here on the road to Talabheim. And it does look like it's going to be a pretty heavy-duty melee clash here between these Chaos factions. Not surprised to hear it, but yeah, here we are. So for the Norscan build here on the flank, it is going to be a triple Horsemaster. So Horsemasters have pretty good missile strength and good range. They trade very well against a lot of other kind of lower tier Chaos Horsemen that you might see on the Warriors of Chaos. Obviously they're more expensive, but this will give the Norscan player some decent battlefield agency and also pressure on the objectives immediately, right? He's going to be able to move up and grab Objective 1 very quickly, maybe even Objective 2 before House God's able to get there and get some points on the board. So for the rest of the Norscan build, it's going to be Marauders. We saw the two Marauder champions with great weapons, and these guys should trade up into the Khorne Chosen. The Khorne Chosen, of course, in a straight fight probably would win, but even still, from the price point perspective, the Khorne Chosen are probably 300 or 400 more than these guys, and they'll trade very well with their rage mechanic, their great armor piercing. They're no joke. Wulfric, Seafang, pretty good at hunting down Festus, which is what he's here for probably, and Metalcaster of Final Transmutation, which makes sense. Warriors of Chaos tend to like to use Festus. He's very popular. I would say him and Valkia, depending on the matchup, are the more popular picks. But having the Final Transmutation used on him is very, very good. Now, looking over here at Housegat's build, he's using, I love this build so much. Housegat's such a fun player here. He's got the Swords of Chaos. And in a way, they're not bad against some of the tools Norsca does have, right? AP, so they can chew through any of the Marauder Champion infantry. Fire damage, so if they do end up fighting Skinwolves, for example, they will mitigate the healing a little bit, and they just are one of the coolest units in the game. Up in the sky, we do also have the Knights of Immolation, another fire damage, magic damage unit, right? So a lot of tech in here against the Skinwolves, it looks like, from House God of War. His battle line is going to be Marauder-centric with the Chad Chosen of Khorne. These guys have insane stats. 56, 55, 52. And if you compare that to like a Marauder champ with great weapons, they have almost 20 more of the primary stats. Melee attack, melee defense, and their weapon strength is higher. They have a good charge bonus too for like a sword and board infantry. Khorne is just super heavy metal and pretty hyped to see them in action. Festus going to be moving up, and Marauders going to be stealing the points. But just like we predicted, Norsca did get the double grab. So they grabbed the objectives here. Number 1 and Objective 2. Objective 3 is in flux. Swords of Chaos tried to get it, and they're actually going to take a fight versus Wulfric. Interesting. And they do actually chew quite a bit of damage off him, and none of the Swords of Chaos do die. Wulfric probably going to lose this fight if he stays here in perpetuity. But obviously the big old Swords of Chaos going to want to bounce around, get as much value as they can, not be stuck in combat with the Hunter of Champions here. As far as the frontline fighting goes, we do see the Knights of Immolation getting wrecked a little bit by the Javelin Focus Fire, so the triple Marauder Horsemen. Really doing a ton of damage against those Knights of Immolation. So kind of a tough start here for House God of War. Looks like he's going to be pulling back the Swords of Chaos, trying to escape as the Condom Wolves are called in. And these are no mere Skin Wolves. These are the Maws of Savagery, a 7-year-old ROR unit. These things came out 7 years ago. Pretty insane. But they're going to jump on Swords of Chaos. And honestly, that's a pretty disastrous start for the old House Cat over here with these Swords of Chaos getting chewed down. Big value lead going for Chibambu. And we're going to be seeing the probably Fleshy Abundance going down on swords, trying to salvage as many models as possible. But they're going to hemorrhage just so many models. A lot of them are actually stuck in combat here, trapped up by the Skin Wolves, and that is going to be a very rough one. But Housegat is an insanely good player, and I'm sure he'll find a way to make this a close game, regardless of that rough start. So here we get the Skirmishers coming out for the Warriors of Chaos, using Valkia's logo, which is pretty funny, and they're going to be trading into what? Looks like they're trying to throw very loosely into the Maws of Savagery, into some of the Skin Wolves, and maybe into some of the Horsemasters here. We'll have to see. Festus has emerged. Really nice Seafang there by Chibambu. Does get on the Chosen of Khorne as well. And as expected, Chosen of Khorne, absolute Terminators. They're basically just putting a unholy, truly an unholy, you know, it's Khorne, beat down on these Marauders, showing them that there are levels to this game, so they're getting a good fight there. Festus, in the meantime, what does he have on? He has his healing elixirs, and he's going to be duking it out with the other unit of Chosen of Khorne. And that might be a little bit hard for Norsca to get through. The Marauder Champions will be a good tech, but if Festus is supporting them, that could be a very, very dodgy fight for sure. Knights of Immolation still rocking 22 models. On the other side, we do see the forces of Norsca calling in Norscan Ice Wolves, and where are they going to go? Are they going to go after the Marauders? Maybe so. Easily intercepted by Knights of Immolation, most likely. Middle objective is in flux, though, owned by the Warriors of Chaos, but Norsca does have a fair amount of capture weight. Now the Chosen of Khorne going to be going up against the Marauder Champions, and Chosen of Khorne will take some big damage, and in response, Festus going to be doing a big old overcasted fleshy. No, that's a Final Transmutation going down there, and that's a beautiful cast. Now, recently, Khornate Mortal units did get a spell resist buff, so that's like, you know, it's a decent little situation here. You can see they barely take any damage from that, which is really, really good, and largely due to the healing elixirs, right? So Chosen of Khorne versus Marauder Champions, they're taking a lot of damage. Baseline Marauders might actually be able to give that win to the forces of Norsca, as we do see a stream of corruption going down from Festus to help equal that fight out. In the backfield, a little bit of a dance, a duel of sorts. We have the Marauder Horsemen screening out the Norscan Ice Wolves and javelining them into the pits. Swords of Chaos have rallied over here, battling versus Maws of Savagery, but this is going to be a losing fight, as the dreaded Skin Wolves are going to be able to tear these guys apart, and that is going to be a big old problem. Now, back in the epicenter of action, we do have the Armored Chaos Trolls. They're going to be battling it out with the Marauders here, being focus fired by the Marauder Horsemen. It's a really, really good play on both sides. Huge value gap for Chibambu. But remember, there's been a lot of healing for old Festus. But Festus here is getting hunted, the Hunter of Champions, living up to his name. And we do see Festus, the Leech Lord, trying to get away. This could be a very dicey situation, as a Stream of Corruption is going to be getting popped here. Norsca's been, doing all right lately. We had them in the Faction War. Really, really good play from Strat Game. He was able to go pretty bananas with them and get very far. And we're seeing Norsca here playing very, very well. Granted, its start was pretty brutal, too. So Hunter of Champions going down once again on Festus, slowing him down. His healing aura is healing him, but if Wulfric is able to kind of push past these guys, he wants to maneuver out and around and probably try and jump on top of Festus that way. That would be a little bit cleaner. In the backfield, we see heavy fighting, though. A lot of Marauder Horsemasters battling with basic Marauders with great weapons. Not Marauder Horsemasters, but basic Marauder Horsemen, but being screened out by the Maws of Savagery. This cannot be a good fight for House God of War. I think he needs to disengage, get some of these trolls up, try and get his ranged attacks to go into the Maws of Savagery and hope for the best. Because looking around the battlefield, it looks like Norsca is in a good position. We do see objective number 1 still being held by the Warriors of Chaos just barely. Knights of Immolation are helping to hold that objective, but these Marauders are probably going to be bunker busted. And somehow Palpatine has returned. He got away. Festus was able to escape the clutches of Wulfric. And the Khorne Chosen, they're carrying this middle area pretty well. A nice Seafang there. That was a thing of beauty. And looking at the value right now, they're going to be sitting at 854. Not bad at all. They're on their way to paying for themselves. The other Chosen of Khorne getting whooped on pretty good, but still accruing a little bit of value before they do pay the Troll Soul. And House God is basically trying to punish the overextend here. Obviously, Norsca has him stuffed back pretty hard. Does Norsca have the triple cap? They do not. They do at this point. Okay. So when you have the triple cap, pushing your opponent back like this isn't a bad idea. Obviously, if you don't have all the objectives, you want to consolidate those first before doing so. But it does look like Norsca is in a very, very commanding position. And the only way House God, he does have a little bit of time. Not too much, but I can see him maybe grinding some value, catching some of these units in overextensions, and then maybe pushing. But if we do see the big man go down here, Festus the Leech Lord, if he gets hunted down by Wulfric the Wanderer, that's probably going to be the end of the road here for the forces of the Warriors of Chaos. Up in the sky, Knights of Immolation going to be getting healing elixirs, charging into that Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. Wulfric is hot on the hunt, going after Festus the Leech Lord. And what is going to be there to possibly help him? You would need something with anti-large, obviously. I mean, you could be really haggard and call in the Swords of Chaos. They could probably kill Wulfric if you just sat there and let it, didn't really try and run away or anything. Here we do see Trolls going up against the Chosen. That's going to be a very hard counter. Norsca Ice Trolls are quite a strong unit. They pack a big armor-piercing punch, and they do have Frostbite, which isn't really relevant in this situation, but they should be able to beat down these Khornate Warriors. Gotta love seeing Chosen with Khorne. That is a super, heavy metal unit. Always a good time. Skin Wolves getting chased down here, and we do see a big blob fight going down as the Chaos Armor Trolls do beat down the Marauder Horsemasters. House God's kind of pulling value back a little bit, but man, this situation is so bad for him here. Festus getting a Fleshy Abundance will buy quite a bit of time. Knights of Immolation are still alive. Maybe come back here and try and surround Wulfric with that. On the other side, we do see the Marauders with Great Weapons chewing through the Marauder Champions. Probably going to be able to get to that objective there. Objective 1 most likely will flip to Norsca. And the game is actually closer than you would think. I mean, the healing, the value difference is about 4,000, but we've seen a ton of healing this game. That's a really good final transmutation. Very, very good one here. Chibambu is playing great. Knights of Immolation get nailed, does also hit the Marauders, and it's going to be tickling Festus's pickle as well, his decrepit, fetid pickle, I suppose. And he does manage to escape. His healing elixirs going to be keeping that bad boy alive. And we see a little bit of a breakthrough here for Norsca. Not Norsca, for the Warriors of Chaos, excuse me, as their Trolls push them back. And there are 2 units of Trolls here, both of which are healing. So the big healing advantage, of course, does go for House Cat. He's got a lot of healing, but there are double Norsca Ice Trolls here on the other side. I feel as if House Cat if he were able to come back somehow in this game, it would just have to be because of big mistakes that Chibambu would make, because he's got his clutches on this game pretty firm. Although Wulfric dying back here would be a big step forward. Like if Wulfric dies, and then somehow Festus is able to live and come back and provide his utility and his healing elixirs and different things like that to the battlefield, that would be one avenue for success for the old House Cat. And here we see Wulfric, the Sword of Torvald active. He's going to be at 20 leadership right here, and he is going to be fleeing the scene. Looking over in the battlefield, though, we do see the objective number 2 firmly in the clutches of Norsca. House Cat trying to get his Chaos Armor Trolls to battle the Norsca Ice Trolls. Ice Trolls, I think, are a little bit stronger. They have 20 more weapon strength, more HP, better stats as well, and Frostbite. The one advantage, of course, the Chaos Armor Trolls have is, as the name would infer, they are more heavily armored. Granted, Ice Trolls do have 60 armor too, so a very, very good unit. Arguably, top 2 unit on the Norscan roster. Granted, there's not a lot to choose from, but they do get the job done. So Norsca skirmishing with Warriors of Chaos here in the middle. Festus being hunted down by Wulfric, and looks like Wulfric is going to get the kill. And, let me tell you, it's 100% worth sacrificing Wulfric to kill Festus. Festus provides a lot of utility. He's your mage, whereas Norsca is still going to have its mage. But, okay, it looks like Festus might live, and he'll probably rally, too. He's also healing with his healing elixirs. And Norsca does get hunted here in the backfield. The Beast of Tashnar trying to assist in that kill, but it does not look like they're going to be able to, as Festus is most likely going to be rallying here in a second. But is there enough time to get these objectives back? We do see the resurgence of chaos here as a couple Marauders push up. Marauders with great weapons also in the fight. Skinwolves, though, very good counter against Chaos Armored Trolls. They're anti-large, and their healing of their own will make them uptrade into Armored Trolls or into just any Trolls, really. Especially Maws of Savagery, but I don't think these are the Maws of Savagery. Just going to be Skinwolves and Norscan Frost Trolls. And how cool is it going to be when Norsca has been like a solid faction contender for a long time. Like, there's been points in the Warhammer 3 meta where Norsca has been a top 3 faction. At several different stages, and I don't know if did they even get any like nerfs. I don't think so. I just think other factions got better, and the things maybe they were good against previously got things to answer them. But man, when Norsca gets an update, they have like such a solid backbone. Like Norsca's core is really, really good. Their units, like even their their baseline Marauders, their rage mechanic, all these different things are so powerful. Here, Warriors of Chaos do have the objective, but that one is going to get capped. We do see Housecat moving up with Marauders here and more Marauders. So trying to swarm the battlefield, and the value gap is definitely closed. It's only 3,000 now, and Festus is back online. And we'll see if he's going to be able to make it up to the front lines before the battle is over. Warriors of Chaos are going to have to stem the bleeding here really quick. And we do see the Marauder Horsemen being sacrificed to the Trolls on the objective. Might be worth it. If these guys can arrive before the objective flips, that's going to be pretty big. Warriors of Chaos need to hold on to an objective, and they do get there. Wow, that was really close. Those Marauders were able to arrive, so Housecat showing his domination fundamentals, certainly helping to try and keep him in the game here. Chaos Armored Trolls and basic Marauders are going to be there soon, and somehow these Norscan Trolls break. What the hell? Why did they even break? That's so weird. But they'll be back, and they still have, I think, their full model. Yeah, they got 16 of 16 models. That's going to be scary. A couple shielded Marauders going to be heading up to the point. 1,300 points here for Norsca as we get into the end game here. As these guys could basically be cousins, basically 2 Norscan tribes, one of which has maybe joined a Chaos Undivided warband, and the other one is still up in the Norscan wastelands hanging out. But Marauders duking it out, having a big old battle down here, that is for sure. On the other side, Marauder Spearmen going to be coming across to support, but Norsca does have some pressure on this side from the Warriors of Chaos. We do see the Marauder Horsemen coming in numbers, might be able to get behind those unshielded Spearmen and take them down. On this side, Festus is kind of hiding on the edge of the map. Granted, I think he would be pretty useful up here still. Final Transmutation going to be going down. That's going to be incredibly nasty. Really, really good magic cast from Chibambu this game. And the fact that Festus is alive is really important because Trolls have terrible leadership. And if he were to break, the negative 16, these Chaos Armor Trolls would be broken right now if Festus had run off the battlefield. But instead, they're going to stay fighting a little bit longer. And the Trolls of Norsca are breaking very quickly because Wulfric did get killed. So big difference there. Great changes in the patch 5.1 to make it so Lord Unsummoning isn't a thing. Housecat swarming onto the point is a really, really close one. He might be able to potentially get some pressure on these objectives, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He actually does have the other one there, and this one is in danger of flipping. I still think Norsca gets this. They can easily win on one objective. If you're Chibambu here, what you do is you just swarm objective 2. You send everything over there, and you just yield the other objectives, and whatever you have fighting there, you just leave fighting there, right? But Housecat's not going to have nearly enough time, but a really, really awesome game by Chibambu and an excellent comeback attempt from Housecat, right? Housecat made some colossal blunders in the beginning of the game and took some big value deficits early on with pretty much no gain, but he really showed his chops. He almost got back into this match, and I think most of us, and myself included, thought the game was going to be over quite a bit earlier, but Norsca does close the game. They have done it. The cavemen will reign victorious. So, how'd Wulfric do? Pretty good, I would imagine. 2,500, really nice. 1,700 on the final transmutations. Marauder, this was as we expected when we saw the Chosen of Khorne versus the Marauder Champion Great Opens. We knew that was going to be a bad trade for, Warriors of Chaos. I personally think bringing the Nurgle variant is better. I find that the Great Opens are just so nice. Granted, these guys do fire damage, so I think that was the idea of his build, was a lot of fire damage to shut down Skinwolves and the regeneration of the Trolls. So, yeah, it was a cool thought for sure. Definitely, it looks like an experimental build here from Housecat. And for Housecat, what did well, the Discmen got 1,600. The Chosen kind of got shut down a little bit. Swords of Chaos, they paid the Troll toll for sure, and that was pretty much it. So GG, well played, these mighty champions of Chaos, and we will see you guys on the other side.